Hello, everyone. You're welcome to Legal Rights Academy, where we take you through A to Z of your legal rights. Everything you need to know about your legal rights as it relates to law. Right here in this academy, we will teach you. So I remain your host, Patience Kelechi Patrick. And do well to like our channel, subscribe to our channel, turn on your notification bell. Whenever we upload new videos, YouTube will notify you. And also you can send a channel link to your loved ones, your friends, your colleagues, your partners, your classmates, your fellow students, your lecturers. Tell them what is happening right here in Legal Right Academy for them to be a partaker. Because ignorance of the law is never an excuse. And you know what? Knowledge is powerful. Okay, so our topic for today is limitation law. You heard me right. Limitation law. But before we dive into the topic for today, I want us to know what law is all about and what legal rights is all about. In simplicity, law is a set down rules by an authority that must be obeyed. Now, when you fail to obey the law, it leads to violation of the law. That means you have violated the law. Now, legal rights simply means your interests, your rights that are enforceable in a court of law. Yes, your rights, your interests that are enforceable, that you can enforce in a court of law. So what is limitation law? Our topic for today. Limitation law simply means the time the law ascribed, the law set aside by which you are supposed to enforce your legal rights in courts. You're supposed to file a case in courts. Now, once the time elapses, no matter how good your case might look like, it will be thrown out of court because you didn't do anything about it. You slept over your rights. So right here in this academy, we'll teach you everything you need to know about your legal rights so you don't sleep over your rights, so that you can be able to take the action in a court of law. Okay, so I've mentioned what limitation law, our topic for today, is. So let's dive into contracts. In matters that has to do with contracts, you have 6 years. The contract can be money transaction. Yes, it can be business transaction, but it has to be legal for it to be enforceable in a court of law. So, be it money, loan, business, any kind of business transaction, in as much as it is a legal business transaction, you have 6 years to sue, to enforce that legal right of yours. In a contract, maybe one of the parties breached, violated the contract. Now you have 6 years. You start counting at the time the person breached the contract. In a loan transaction, when the person defaulted in payment of the loan, 6 years starts counting. Oh yes, you heard me right. Your 6 years start counting. If at the end of 6 years you don't take any action, you don't do anything to enforce your legal rights in a court of law, you have let go. You have forfeited your rights. So if you're watching me and you know that someone has breached that contract between the two of you as partners, do well to go to court to enforce that legal rights of yours. You claim damages in the court of law. Okay, so we move to negligence. Matters that has to do with negligence. Now, the common one is medical negligence by a medical personnel. Maybe a surgery was carried out and harm was done to you, injury was caused to you. I know that the medical personnel was negligent in handling you. You know what? You have 3 years to sue that medical personnel alongside his employer. That's the hospital that employed the medical personnel. You have 3 years to sue them and claim damages in a court of law. Now, if the hospital is a federal hospital, you can sue in a federal high court. If it's a state hospital or a private hospital, you can sue in a state high court. Has any harm been done to you and you want to take an action against the medical personnel and the hospital, don't waste time, because you have 3 years to do that. Oh yes, you heard me right. You have 3 good years to do that. So we move to defamation. Matters that has to do with defamation. What is defamation? Defamation simply means a false statement. A false statement that was made against a person by a third party that damaged his reputation. Yes, you heard me. That damaged his reputation. It damaged his reputation. So you have to prove that your reputation was damaged. It was damaged. You have to prove it, that your reputation was damaged for your right to be enforceable in a court of law. If your reputation was not damaged, which you have to prove, if it wasn't damaged, I don't think defamation has really taken place. So if it's in oral form, that's the first statement that was made, was in oral form, it's called slander. And if it's in written form, it was published, that means it's libel. Libel. You heard me right. So whichever one, either in written form, which was published, or in oral form, it's called defamation and is enforceable. But you have to prove that your reputation was really damaged and the person who caused it was at fault. Yes, he was the one who made such false statements. Okay, so we move to recovery of land. Recovery of land. In the matters that has to do with recovery of land, you have 12 years. Has someone encroached on your land? Has someone trespassed into your land? At the points by which the person encroached, trespassed into your land, your 12 years start counting. Your 12 years start what? It start counting. So do well not to sleep over your rights. Because if at the end of 12 years you do nothing about it to recover your land in a court of law, you have given the trespasser the rights, the privilege to remain the owner of the land that he is not. So do well to go to court and recover that land of yours before 12 years elapse. Okay, so we move to crime against humanity, genocides. That's international law. Crime against humanity, genocide. Now listen, time does not run when it comes to killing of humans. So those involved, no matter how they run, one day the law will definitely catch up with them. Even if they are old, the law will catch up with them and they will be made to face the consequences of their action. So time does not run. As well as criminal cases also, generally, time does not run. If anyone commits a crime, be it stealing, robbery, manslaughter, murder, whatever crime it is, and the person runs away into hiding, the day the person surfaces, the law will catch up with the person because time does not run. So the best thing for you is to stay out of crime. Yes, right here in this academy, we tell you, stay out of crime. Crime does not pay. It doesn't. It diminishes your reputation, your personality. So stay out of crime. You might be saying, well, I don't involve myself in any kind of crime, but you're seeing around a person or group of persons that are criminals. Tell me your friend. Show me your friend, and I will tell you who you really are. So the best you can do is stay out of crime. Don't be involved in crime. Don't stay around people that are criminals. It will do you a whole lot good. Okay, so we move to violation of fundamental human rights. Violation of fundamental human rights. Time does not run. Your right was violated. You were tortured. You passed through degrading, inhuman treatment in the hands of those that were meant to protect you. The common one is security agents. You were tortured. You were detained for so many days, weeks, months without trial. They tortured you because they wanted to bring out statements from your mouth, from you. You know what? Time does not run. If you feel your fundamental human rights as a person has been violated, time does not run. There is no limitation law when it comes to violation of your fundamental human rights. Time does not run. You heard me right. So if you feel your right has been violated, do well to file that case in court and claim damages. Okay, so we move down to election matters. Election matters. When it comes to pre-election, before the main election, like primary election, if you feel you are the right candidates that was supposed to emerge as the party frontier, as the party flag bearer, and your right was not given to you, you have 14 days to sue in a court of law to enforce that right of yours. If at the end of 14 days, that means you've accepted the outcome. of the election. Oh yes. So when it comes to election proper, at the day when the result was declared, the winner emerged. You have 21 days. If you feel you were supposed to be the winner of the election, so your 21 days start counting. If at the end of 21 days you don't do anything about your rights, you have let go, that means you've accepted the results of the election. Oh yes. So 14 days for pre-election, 21 days for election proper. So we dive into divorce. Okay, so marriages under the Matrimonial Causes Act. That's the act that covers marriages. You know what? The marriages that are recognized under the Matrimonial Causes Act has to do with marriages celebrated in a marriage registry and marriages celebrated in a licensed place of worship. We'll do a video on marriages conducted in a licensed place of worship and unlicensed place of worship, because I get to know that a lot of people don't know the difference between marriages conducted in a place that the Lord licensed for marriages to be conducted, and a place that has not been licensed to conduct marriages. So now, marriages conducted in an unlicensed, that the law has not licensed, marriages conducted that is unlicensed, places of worship that the law has not licensed to conduct marriages, they are called unlicensed place of worship. Yes. So marriages conducted in such a place is deemed to be a customary marriage. Or someone like, you mean it? Oh yes. That is why we are here in Legal Right Academy, to educate people, to educate you so that you will know the right thing. So marriage is conducted in an unlicensed place of worship. There's churches that have not been licensed to conduct marriages. Such marriages conducted in such a place is called customary marriage. So for the purpose of our topic for today, we'll restrict ourselves to marriages conducted in marriage registry and marriages conducted in a licensed place of worship, which the Matrimonial Causes Act recognizes. Oh yes. So divorce, there is something we call 2 years rule. In other words, if you're married and you feel you're not compatible anymore, 2 years rule will apply. You have to wait for 2 good years before you can be able to file a divorce in a court of law. You're permitted to separate though. You can. Marriage is a contract. Yes. So, under the law, Matrimonial Causes Act, the 2 years rule applies. You have to wait for 2 years before you can file that case for divorce in a court of law. Now somebody like, do you mean it? I have to stay 2 years. If I don't want to get, if I don't want to remain in the marriage again, would the Lord force me to remain in such a marriage? No, the Lord will not force you to remain in the marriage. Definitely. But the 2 years rule have to apply. You can go your separate ways and wait for the 2 years. Then you file your divorce case in court. Now, this 2 years rule is not absolute. There are exceptions to the 2 years rule. Yes, there are exceptions to the 2 years rule. And we have listed the exceptions for you to know that this 2 years rule is not absolute. Marriages between blood relations, brother, sister, uncle, niece, aunt, nephew, blood relations, they have blood ties. They will not wait for this 2 years rule. Immediately it was discovered, it has been discovered that, these people are related by blood. The law permits you to file a case of divorce in court, but you have to do that with the leave of court. So the exception to the 2 years rule has to come with the leave of court. Yes. So if at the time of marriage one of the party is mentally derailed, you can file a case of divorce in court. Marriages that has to do with an underage, maybe the lady is an underage, not of marriageable age, at the time of the marriage, can file a case of divorce in court. If at the time of the marriage the lady was pregnant for another man, divorce is permitted. If at the time of the marriage adultery was involved, or rape, homosexuality, or lesbianism, bestiality, divorce will be permitted. Oh yes, if at the time of the marriage consent of either of the party was obtained by fraud, divorce will be permitted. If at the time of the marriage, either of the parties suffering from venereal diseases, STD in a communicable form, divorce will be permitted. Oh yes. In matters that has to do with domestic violence also, divorce will be permitted under the law. When the marriage has broken down irretrievably, when the marriage has broken down irretrievably, you cannot retrieve it again. You cannot bring it back, no matter how people have tried to intervene. And the parties felt they don't want to be married anymore, they can go their separate ways. They can file a case of divorce in a court of law. Wow, I know somebody is learning. Yes, I know you're learning, because that is why I am here in this Legal Right Academy, to teach you all you need to know. Okay, so we move to action against public officers. Action against public officers that are public. Officers that are public, we call them public officers. Federal agencies, state agencies, public officers. Has any harm been done to you by a public officer? And you want to seek for damages in a court of law? The time for you to do that is within 3 months. Oh yes, I know somebody like, why is this so short? Well, that's what the law prescribes actually. 3 months. Action against any public officer. You have 3 good months to do that, to file that case in court against a public officer. At the end of 3 months, that means you have slept over your rights. But you know what? That 3 months is not absolute actually. There are exceptions to it, which you have to prove. So if you can't prove it, that means you're caught up with that 3 months. That means you can't lay claim to any damages. That means you have slept on your rights. So when the damage is a continuous damage, when the damage is a continuous damage, the 3 months will not apply. Oh yes, when it's continuous, one after the other, you pass through damage, it's still a continuous process in the hands of this public officer, the 3 months will not apply. Now, when you file a case within 3 months, you file a case in court, and you get to discover, oh, this case I filed in this court is the wrong court to file this case. You know what? You apply for the case to be struck out, and you file it in the proper court. The 3 months will not apply. Yes, you heard me right. The 3 months, because the first case that you filed it within time. You filed it within the 3 months, but it was in the wrong court, and you applied for it to be struck out from the wrong court, and you now refiled it in the right court. So the 3 months will not apply. So if you have a case against any public officer, you can do well to go to court and enforce your legal rights. You claim damages in the court of law. Oh yes. So I hope someone has gained knowledge from our topic for today, limitation law. Now, if you have a topic that you want us to treat on, is an issue that has been bothering you and you don't know how to go about it, you can type it in the comments section. You type it in the comment section. We'll do research on it and come up with a video for you to learn, and for others in this Legal Right Academy to also learn. Remember, ignorance of the law is not and never an excuse. Oh, I didn't know it's like this. I didn't know it's like this. It's not an excuse in law. That's why knowledge is worth powerful. It is expected of you that if you don't know, you ask. You ask. And once you ask, you get to know. So right here in this Legal Right Academy, we'll teach you. We'll teach you from A to Z, everything you need to know about your legal rights. So please do well to like our channel, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, send our channel link to people out there. They need to know what is happening in Legal Right Academy. Send the link to them. Let them connect and also learn. You might be helping someone to stay out of crime. So, I remain your host, Patience Kelechi Patrick. Till I come your way next time, please and and please stay out of crime. It pays to stay out of crime. Don't say, oh, I'm just on my own. He slapped me and I went to look for a weapon to hit him. How is that proportionate? Ask yourself, how is that proportionate? So the best thing for you is to stay out of crime. Even if the person slap you. I know it's not easy. You might slap the person back and the person might just fall down and die. Oh yes, or fall down and faint. Whichever way. When you go to the prison, you get to understand that not all prisoners actually committed a crime. A lot of them are innocent of the crime they are accused of. So please, whatever you can do to stay out of crime, just do it. It will help you to go a long way in life, and your reputation will not be tarnished. So it's good to have you on Legal Right Academy for today. Till I come your way next time. Bye for now, and thanks for watching. Bye.